On today's Which Word of the Day, Kevin, it's 2 words. It's sling ring. Isn't that fun? Sling ring.
It sounds like naughty, but
You
but yes,
dirty pervert.
I know what this is. This is the right.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is. So it goes on your middle finger and your index finger. It's like having what are those, metal knuckles type thing? And yeah, when you twirl your hand in the air, you make a portal, much like Doctor Strange does in the MCU.
Yeah, like the brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles, that's what they're called.
And I was doing I was doing the motion and people couldn't see me, so I'm like, I feel like an idiot. But yeah, I was doing the Doctor Strange swirlies. So.
Yeah, I really want at Disneyland right now, if you have a magic band, there's like 100 anniversary, like huge coins around the parks. And if you like do that motion, like they do with the sling ring, you activate it. So it like lights up and plays sound. So I'm like, why do they not have this in Avengers Campus? Why did they not let me open portals with my magic band?
You haven't even read that?
Wait, what are you doing with the book?
So he has the confidence to finish the story.
Hear now the words of the witches.
This is Kevin, and welcome to Words of the Witches, the Charmed podcast that will guide you through the lesser-known published material in the Charmed universe and decide how it fits into the grand narrative of the TV series.
Okay, well, welcome to Words of the Witches. What episode is this? 83. I'm Kevin, your resident Charmed resource.
And I'm Sean, and I just love comic books and the song Back to the 80s by Aqua.
I was singing that the other day, yes. This is 83, episode 83. So we're going to talk Love is a Burning Thing, and it makes a fiery ring. we're gonna talk about that today. But before that, we do have some poll results. This was which of the great old ones from Lovecraftian stories would you like to see in this comic series? And we had Sogoth, Azathoth, Yog-Sothoth, and Nyarlathotep. Do you remember what you picked?
Wasn't mine Yog-Sothoth?
Yes.
Okay.
And I picked Nyarlathotep. Yes. So Yog-Sothoth only got 1 vote.
Wow.
Yeah.
Haters.
I know, haters gonna hate. And then Sogoth got 5 votes. And this is interesting because Azathoth and Nyarlathotep, God bless you, both got 10 votes, but they're not tied.
Huh. I've seen that before on the Insta voting.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. So Nyarlathotep, God bless you, got 39%, whereas Azathoth got 38%. So that's interesting.
I think it does that if there's like an odd number, because it can't do like a half a point, so it has to make one more than the other.
So whichever one got chosen first or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's our results. Blah.
Blah. Bless you.
Thank you. We've been sneezing a lot this issue. Ooh,
I know.
This episode. Should we get into this comic book?
Yes.
All right. So this is season 10, issue 8, Love is a Burning Thing. And I fell into a burning ring of fire. And this was published May 20th, 2015, written by Pat Chand, artwork by Eliza Felice. We got our original artist back on this one.
Damn.
Colors by Valentino Cuomo, letters by Christy Sawyer, edited by Pat Chand, and cover art by David Seidman. And this cover's got Podge.
Podge?
She's got Paige in this weird... This is the odd dress for her, I think.
It really is. It's more like a Wednesday dress.
Yeah, Wednesday Addams dress. But she's like holding, I guess is the Book of Shadows. It looks like it's kind of falling apart though in the binding, like it's gonna like tear in half.
Yeah.
And you see behind her this fiery ring with clouds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what that is now.
Now you know what that is. So, would you like to get us started?
Sure. So we start off with Leo and Piper, and Leo says, "Are you sure you're ready for this?" Because they are at the Nexus, Kevin.
Yeah. Y'all ready for this? Bum, 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 bum. So
Bless
they
you.
are the Nexus. God bless you. Bless you. Okay. All right. So they are, they're standing outside of Prue's castle. And she's like, no, I mean, yes, I mean, what am I going to do? She's like, no, I'm sure because I have to be sure. She's like, we have to tell her what's going on. We owe her that. You know, it's really unfair what we've been doing to her. I'm like, yeah, it is. Stop being a bitch and just tell her.
Yeah.
And then Leo's like, yeah, she'll understand. And Piper is being kind of a bitch. She's like, will she? She doesn't really feel like, why do I think these things? Like she's gonna say she doesn't feel like my sister. Like what? How rude. But she also feels bad that she thinks these things. So I don't know what she's going through. But she was like, okay, let's just do it. Let's go up these stairs and tell her. And it ends with, I'm doomed, which is continuing for the next page.
And then we see two male-looking figures walking on a pier together, holding hands.
Ooh, tee-hee-hee.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.
And one of them says, I mean, who am I kidding? There's no real future in it. And the other says, I don't know about that. There are plenty of vloggers that make way more than people with safe jobs. Right? Okay, I'm not crazy. That's what I keep telling my parents. That guy who has the YouTube channel where he reenacts awkward life experiences with sock puppets, he makes a living, and all he needs is a video camera and cool socks. And then the other says, and googly eyes. Never forget the all-important googly eyes. And then we see them. We see that it is Tyler and Kareem. They're sitting together on the beach. I love beach dates. I used to do stuff like this, like when I lived in Orange County. We used to drive to Huntington and just walk the beach at night. It was just so serene and calming.
Yeah. And it's a very Californian thing to do, I think, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I should do that here. There's beaches like not far from us. I should make Alan do that. Anyway,
we could do that, but only in summer here. If we do that in winter, it'd be, awful.
It'd be freezing.
Yeah.
So then Kareem asked, are they hassling you about it big time? And Tyler says, not hassling so much as bribing. Major in something else and we'll pay your tuition. It's insane. I'm a Firestarter, a twisted Firestarter, getting a full magical education from Podge. From Page for free. And here my parents are thinking majoring in film is too risky. And Kareem says there's a certain gap of logic there to be sure. And Tyler says, do your parents care about you wanting to be an English major? I mean, there's even a song about how you guys can't get jobs. Nah, they're working with the free spirit. We grew up in the age of free love vibe. They're just glad I have a direction that is somewhat direction-esque. I like his Sean language. Direction-esque. And Tyler says, lucky. What if they're right? What if there's no future for me? And Kareem says, I think maybe the future is for you to worry about when it becomes the present. And Tyler says, you don't really ever think about tomorrow, do you?
Yeah. Did you get when he talks about there's even a song about English major? Do you know what they're referring to?
I don't. I was wondering.
I knew exactly. It's because you can tell Pat had some theater experience because this is another theatrical reference to Avenue Q. What do you do with a BA in English? What is my life going to be? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I get all of his little theater references.
Aww. I know the internet is for porn.
Yeah. It's really, really great. For porn. So
And sometimes when Alan gets home and doesn't want to talk to me, I'll be like, "What'd you have for lunch today?" I don't care.
I don't care. You've said that on our past podcasts too.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I'm not being defensive. Oh, Avenue Q, great for people who don't know, and it has sock puppets and all kinds of other, well, not sock puppets, but puppets.
Yeah.
So okay, so continuing this beach date, Kareem says, "Yeah, sure, I think about the future, but not the college part of it. I think about Paris." He's like, and Helen's like, "Oh, really? Tell me more." And then this is really sweet. He says, "You're there. You're kind of the common denominator of tomorrow. Whenever I picture the future, it's you and I together, and you're always in it." I'm like, oh. He's like, sometimes we're in Paris, sometimes we're in England, visiting bookstores and dipping our scones in the tea. Oh, and then he's like, and he says, "The future isn't something to be scared of, Tyler Michaels, using your full name. It's just a story we haven't told yet." Super sweet.
Aww.
And how cool of this to see a gay interracial relationship in Charmed. Did you ever think you'd see the day?
I love it. I think that's still something that's a sore spot even in today's age. So like, it's cool that we're getting exposed to it here.
Yeah, and this is like, we've had a few LGBT characters in Charmed later on. They kind of were there, but this is like the first mainstream relationship of the series. That's like not just throwaway or not just for an episode. So this is kind of very, very cool.
Yeah, and it's good that we're seeing them like not at a club or having sex or doing a lot of things that people think is typical of gays, which I mean, they are typical things we like to do, but it's nice to see just a normal conversation on the beach.
Yeah, and these are young people. These are like people in high school on the verge of college. So of course they're going to be a little bit more clean.
Yeah.
More family friendly, because this is them figuring out how they vibe and how they fit in the world. And
well, on the next page, Tyler is now home. He's going to bed at 11:37. Tyler. He's sleeping with a smile as he pictures him and Kareem in suits in Gay Paris. It was only called that once they got there.
They broke the mold.
They broke the mold. Oh, this reminds me of my Paris trip. Alan and I stood right there too when we looked at the Eiffel Tower. That's so cute.
See?
Yeah. There's a full moon, and then at 3 a.m, suddenly Tyler wakes up and goes, "Kareem?"
3 a.m. That's the witching hour.
Yeah. I know. I used to wake up around 3 o'clock all the time, and apparently if you do that, it means you're being attacked potentially by like a demon or a bad entity.
Yeah. Put a pin in that.
Oh! Ow.
Ow. All right, so the next page, we see the full moon outside, and Tyler's waking up. He's like, "What?" And then above his bed is this fiery ring. He's like, "What's happening, man?" And then he gets out of bed, and down the hallway is another fiery ring. And then he walks out the door, and outside, they're everywhere. The fiery rings. And he's like, "I fell into a burning ring of fire." And then, it's crazy. It's crazy. And he's like, and then we hear, "Oh, look, you're awake."
Oh, you read my page.
I did? Oh, I did. Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
I was in the fiery ring on a roll. Just consider it like a 2-pager.
Okay.
You get the next Sexy Henry page, so there you go.
Yay! Oh, hi.
I know.
So, back at Podge's place.
You like that?
I really like Podge. It just sounds so terrible. So, Podge and Henry are waking up, and Henry says, "Leaving so soon? The kids are uncharacteristically asleep, and I'm characteristically in want of some quality page time."
It means morning wood.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Like, you're horny. You want to fuck her, even though she literally just got dressed.
Yeah.
She's like, you're sweet, but I literally just got dressed. And he was like, was going for alluring, but I think we can work with sweet. And she says, sorry.
It was
You know me.
I read that too. Like, this is the Canadian coming out. This is Podge for sure. Sorry. I'm truly sorry.
Which is really funny and ironic because Rachel literally just texted me to say I'm about to drive to Canada. So she says, sorry. You know me. I'm all about the early morning romance. But I got a million texts from Tyler last night. He's in panic mode, which for a Firestarter is not the preferred mode. I've got to see what's going on. And Henry says, something's up? And she says, something weird. He's frantic. Sorry, babe. I'll try not to be too long. And he says, it's okay. I'll just masturbate again. And he says, yeah, she's gone. I'll be there as soon as possible. What? Henry doesn't get his morning sex, and he calls someone, says, I'll be right there? Oh, this has to be bad automatically.
And did you mention how shirtless Henry is and how beautiful he looks?
Yeah, you didn't let me finish. Henry is so shirtless, and look how beautiful he looks.
Wonderful. What were you thinking when you read this page? Were you wondering who he was talking to?
I definitely was. I knew it wasn't like I feel like Pat set this up as us maybe thinking he's cheating or something nefarious, and I knew it wasn't something like that just because it's Henry. But I figured it was going to have to do with Prue. Like, he's in on the Prue secret, and they were calling him to help with that.
Yeah. Okay. So the next page, and we see Piper and Prue sitting on the couch very awkwardly while Leo's just like, I'm going to like mind my own business over here and perusing these books because I don't want to be a part of this. Do-de-do. And then Prue's like, so. Piper's like, so. And they're like, let me. No, I. And then they go, we're so stupid. Aren't we cute? Like, aren't we cute? This is like our sister time. Isn't this so funny? Which I love. I love that they have that moment because it shows that they still have some kind of sister bond in there despite all the weirdness. But then it goes all haywire. Okay. So Prue's like, this is awkward. I just don't know what to say, Piper. And then Piper's holding her head. She's like, God, and then Leo's like, huh? And then Piper's like, I'm fine. And Prue's like, I think I know what this is about. So I'm just going to come out here and say it. Piper.
So on the next page, we have Piper still holding her head, Prue standing up. She says, I didn't want to think about it, but I can see it in your eyes. You act like you're in physical pain when you see me, and it hurts, Piper. But I know what's going on. You don't trust me. None of you do. I could feel it when you were here, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. You think that Cole and I were, and then Piper says, Prue, that's not, and then Prue says, we weren't.
So here's what I was kind of talking about last one, like when they get into it. Right, so Prue confirming that they were not together, despite what everybody thinks. Nothing happened. And she continues, she's like, there was nothing there. It's like, he was here for me when no one else was. I'm like, yeah, she couldn't even count on her sisters. She had nobody to rely on, and Cole was steadily there for her, which is, very important. So they did have some kind of relationship that wasn't romantic, but a really close one. And she's like, you know what, Piper? Even if hell froze over and there was something between me and Cole, I wouldn't be sorry about it because you're all bitches. He treated me right. I was like, you said you mourn for me? Well, you know what? I mourn every day for the life I lost because I'm still here and things are not the same. I may be alive and standing in front of you, but you don't look at me like I'm your sister. You don't treat me like I'm your sister. And Piper's like, Prue, enough. I'm leaving. I can't. And then she's like, you've got to be kidding me. I say one thing you don't like, and now you're going to leave? Piper's just holding her head. She's like, I can't take anymore. I got to get out of here. And then Prue starts to feel remorse for her outburst, which I think her outburst was rightfully so. But she's still sad to see Piper go because she wants this relationship with them. She wants this bond with them. So she's like, if I'm off base, tell me, please, just stay. And she looks so sad.
All right, and then next we see Phoebe's in her tour bus, and she's on the phone with Prue, and she says, and she just left? And Prue says, yes, like every time. She just left. For someone who answers exactly one of my calls in the past month, you sound surprised. And then Phoebe says, listen, we should have spoken to you before. I know that. But with Gexagiel, the Athamate, and then Cole, then the tour, then Knox, it's been really hard, Prue. And what's going on is hurting us as much as, don't you dare. And she says, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We should have worked on this sooner, but... And then Prue says, tell me. Please tell me what's going on. And Phoebe says, Prue, no one thought you and Cole were... You said that Piper seemed in pain when she was talking to you. That's it. That's Prue. Just from this phone call, I feel like my head is going to explode. When I text you, it feels like my blood is on fire. It wasn't like this from the start, but it's worse every time. And then Prue says, are you telling me that my sisters are abandoning me because of a headache?
So what do you think this is? Like, it's weird that they can't even, like, be around her or talk about her without being in physical pain.
Yeah, I figure it's something to do with Constance. Like, maybe something to do with her power.
I mean, patience?
Or maybe... Or patience. Did I say Constance? I did. Patience. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Constance and Bird. Just where I got Constance. Yeah. So, patience. So, I'm wondering if, like, because Prue's back alive in her body, like, she's kind of messing up the power of 3. Like, she's absorbing it or something, or just, like, in the way of it.
Yeah, it's very odd. So, I don't know what this means.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I kind of do, but it's weird because I remember some things and then I forget some things, so I don't always know all the details. But it continues. So Phoebe's still on the phone with Prue. She's like, it's more than that. And then Elise comes to her and she sees that Phoebe is getting a little bit weaker. She's like, Phoebe, are you okay? And she says to Prue, when we talk to you, we see things that... And then she just cuts off. And Prue's like, Phoebe, talk to me. What are you saying? And we see that she, like, passed out on the tour bus. And she's like, and someone's like, someone call 911. And then Lisa's like, no, call Paige Matthews. Like, okay.
So dramatic.
I was like, she's better than 911. Trust me.
Elise is just mad because she has one of those like vibrating things inside of her, and there's a guy on the bus like activating it while she's trying to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky.
She's kinky. All right, this scene was confusing because both of these men look exactly the same, but we see Henry coming to the manor, and he's like, Piper or Leo home? And then Coop answers the door and says, nah, Piper's still feeling off from what happened at Prue's, so they took the kids out. I think Piper may be indulging in a grown-up drink while Leo keeps them busy. And then Henry says, a cold one sounds good right now. I love this little exchange. So they go to the fridge, and Coop is like, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if we took a few beers off their hands. And then Henry goes, what's the what? What's the what? And Coop says, Leo's a pale ale kind of guy. And Henry says, no harm there. And Coop says, personally, I prefer schnapps. And then Henry, who looks just like Coop right here, says, how'd your hearing go? If you lose your job because of trying to protect your kids, there's got to be someone you can complain to. And Coop says, there's an HR department. You wouldn't believe how many archery injuries Cupids get on the job. But that's why I called you. There was no hearing.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a dirty, sexy liar that wants to sit on Sean's face. I've been at the temple researching and I needed a cover. I couldn't have everyone asking questions, but I can't do this alone. I need your help, Henry.
What a stupid, sexy liar.
I know. I hate him and want to fuck him so bad.
But I was having my X-Men throwback here because I wanted someone to just blow on the bottle. I'm like, when he tossed him the beer, it's like, You know, Coop and Henry must be hanging out like this all the time.
There's definitely some subtext.
Yeah. So then the next page, they walk up into the attic, and he's like, Coop, I says, I couldn't find what I needed at the temple, so let's check this Book of Shadows. And Henry's like, what do you need with that? He's like, can't we just ask Podge and Piper? And he's like, not really.
Not really.
And then Henry's just like, okay, are you going to tell me what's going on? Why are you acting weird? And then Coop says, it's not that they couldn't help, but if they were involved, it'd be like riskier. It's better if I do this on the hush hush, because I'm a down low kind of guy. It's like, if I told them, they'd call me crazy. And Henry's like, yeah, you sound crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And he's like, no, listen. It's like, Cole Turner saved my life. And now he's gone. It's so horrible. I feel like I need to give him something for his sacrifice. So, I'm here because of him. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to finish his unfinished nasty and make his father come back to life with this ball. With his soul.
So that is supposed to be the daddy ball, right? But it's not glowing.
It's not glowing. But it is white, at least, and not green.
Okay. So here, Coop continues, the man's dying wish was to resurrect his father so he could live a blissful, demon-free life, and whoa! Down, Maurice! Henry says, whoa, resurrect, as in raise the dead? You know I'm a police officer, right? And Coop says, I don't need you to put on a robe and chant, man. Henry? Coop? And then Henry says, Podge? Please don't say anything. And then Paige says, hey, you, what are you two doing up here? And Coop goes, oh, we thought we heard a mouse. Yeah, a mouse, loud little guy. And Paige is like, you two were totally fucking, weren't you?
It's like, I'm sorry I skipped out on the morning wood earlier today. God.
God. I didn't know you fuck your brother-in-law. Paige says, Piper and Leo told you to come over and get their mouse? No, we were already here. Leo had some pale ale he wanted us to try. Delicious. I prefer schnapps. This reminds me of when Pokemon Go came out. There's this amazing video on YouTube of a guy obsessed with Pokemon Go, and his wife would sit at home being like, yeah, he's obsessed. He just plays it all the time. I don't even see my husband anymore. And he comes in, and she's like, where were you? He's like, I was out. She's like, what are you doing with your phone? He's like, it's not my phone. She's like, then whose phone is it? He's like, the hooker. I got a hooker. She's like, and you stole the hooker's phone? He's like, no, I didn't steal the hooker's phone. I killed the hooker. I killed the hooker and took her phone. That's the scene.
Yeah, you know what? That's also very reminiscent of you ever see the IT Crowd? It's a British show. It's very funny, but there's a part where like the guy is dating a girl who she told him that her parents died at a sea parks, which is like a water park, in a fire. He's like, and so he's like it makes no sense. A fire at a sea parks. And so he's like researching all these on the internet and like figuring out how that could possibly happen. And so he's at night like on the computer, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Masturbating." It's a very funny show. You should watch it.
Okay. When I'm done with Doctor Who.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, anyway, the next page, Paige is like, well, you guys are super drunk, so go downstairs and like sleep it off. And then they leave, and then the Coop's like, Leo wanted us to try his pale ale. And Henry's like, please shut up. Shut up. Shut up. So anyway, Paige and Tyler are at the book now, and Tyler's like, thanks for seeing me. It's nice. I've just begun to master my Firestarter powers, and now things are really weird. I don't know what's going on, so I just want to make sure I'm on the up and up. And she's like, of course, Tyler. You're so wise to come to me. I can help you all the time. I'm so much better than Piper. So, because I know you really bonded with Piper last time, but I'm here for you too. Actually, I was here for you first since I saw you at my job. So I'm your go-to. And so let's see. It's like, there's nothing here about loopy flames. And Tyler's like, what if I'm something else? What if I just started as a fire starter and now I'm something different? That's very astute. I wonder how you came to that conclusion. I would not have come to that conclusion, but he must feel it in his bones, you know?
Yes. So on the next page, we see a montage. Even Rocky had a montage of Podge and Tyler researching. There's all these words: elemental, fire starter, Efreet, phoenix, salamander, archive. Is that how you say archive?
Archive, but Tyler's like, nope, not the salamander. Nope, not that. Not
Yeah. Nope. Wait, look. No. Aha. And Paige is pointing at a burning ring of fire in the book, and Tyler says, that's it. That's what my hole feels like.
Johnny Cash is there.
Johnny Cash. And he's like, that's it. What's it say? And Paige says, oh, what do you mean, oh? Is it bad? The Archai, an extinct race of incredibly powerful beings, often mistaken for Firestarters. After being hunted by both good and evil forces, the Archai were eliminated in the early 1100s because of their what? Their power to use the elements to burn holes in reality. Holy shit. Holy. Once the Archai could control the blaze within, they could naturally manipulate nature's fabric to travel to any and all planes of existence. Wow.
Yeah. So he's powerful. More powerful than we thought.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Or should I say that's pretty hot?
So yeah, Tyler's like, but that can't be what I am, right? It says they're extinct. And Paige is like, I know, but maybe, perhaps, you know? And he's like, burn holes in reality? Oh my goodness gracious. And then we hear, bzz, bzz, the only onomatopoeia in this book. And Paige is like, oh gosh, that's my sister. Sorry, I gotta go. And, oh no, sorry, it's not her sister. It's Elise. Excuse me, backtrack. It's Elise, about my sister. And she's like, oh, it's Phoebe? Oh my gosh, I gotta go heal her. Bye. And she orbs off. Don't drink the pale ale because it gets them loopy weird.
Yep.
This is gonna be our power play for the day. Power play.
Ooh.
Today's power play is orbing. We haven't done orbing yet.
Wow.
We've done orb shield and we've done telekinetic orbing, but we haven't done actual orbing. So let's get into this a little bit. We know what orbing is. It's the power to teleport to another location through the use of orbs, possessed by white lighters, elders, and white lighter witches. And they orb into blue and white orbs that rise upwards or sink downwards, depending on the direction that they're going. Oh, but, you know, the white lighter witches orbit a little differently, because you see the white lighters, their orbs go up and down, whereas Paige's orbs kind of like move towards the center. They move inward and then disappear.
Oh, interesting.
So their orbs are a little bit different in white lighter witches. And, you know, like Simon Marks, when he orbed, it was that swirly orb. So the effect can differentiate with hybrids.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And this is one of the teleportation powers that's able to reach the heavens, one of four. There's orbing, whirling, sparkling, and dusting that can reach the heavens. There's only four powers that can do that. There's different types of orbing: telekinetic orbing, which we talked about; remote orbing, which is when you can just orb somebody from another location that's outside of you. So you can orb them to you or orb them away from you without having to touch them. Combustive orbing, which is only seen once when Wyatt blew up the dragon in orbs. And then orb shield, And then there's Black Orbing, Blue Orbing with the Dark Letter Witches, which hasn't been seen often, but it's there.
Mhm.
They said orbing was forbidden before, early on. Like, you can't orb your witches, but then they just forgot about it and just decided they could orb whenever.
Sounds about right.
Yep. We still don't know why Gideon had purple orbs. That was unexplained. What's interesting, too, is there are some instances where orbing is shown not to be sheer teleportation, where it is actually more about, like, a mode of transport. So, like, sometimes they would try to orb, and if they're in a cage or, like, locked in something, they would, like, bounce off the walls. And in Saving Private Leo, when Paige, you see Paige orb, she orbs up through the ceiling and flies around through the sky. So it's almost like she's actually flying through the sky when she orbs instead of, like, disappearing.
That's true.
So I don't know if that's continuity error or not, but kind of. So there you go, orbing.
Yay! All right, then we go to, it looks like Leo's with Wyatt at Chuck E. Cheese and the other kids. And he says, "Can you hold down the fort for a few minutes, buddy?" And Wyatt says, "You got it, Dad. Is Mom okay?" And Leo says, Yes, she's fine, Wyatt." And he goes next door to, I want to go to a place like this where there's like an arcade for the kids and a bar next door.
I know. What is this place?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Piper's having a glass of wine at the bar, and Leo says, "How are you?" And she's like, "The kids!" And he's like, "I can see every single goddamn one of them from here. We're fine." And she says, "I can't believe I'm making her feel like this. Leo, when we're there, do you feel it at all?" And he says, "I don't." And she says, "It's just me, Paige, and Phoebe then, the charmed ones." And Leo says, "That means this is a magical problem. We can fix that." And she says, "I think this is beyond fixing, Leo. I think something happened to Prue when she took control of the nexus of the all."
Yeah, Piper continues. She's like, "It started out fine. Because I used to love going there before she was trying to get rid of me because I was always there, like in our ebooks." And she's like, "I felt like I had my big sister back, and I loved it, and I loved her. But then I started seeing thingies, flashes. It doesn't just hurt when I'm around her. It hurts when I talk about her, when I think about her. It's painful." And she's like, I had visions of all our futures. I saw Phoebe having a little girl and growing old together, and I saw a granddaughter that we had, and it was beautiful, but now it's all changing. Every time I see Prue, something is gone and things are worse." And she's like crying. Leo's like, what do you think is happening then?" And she's like, "I think being around Prue is doing something to the power of 3. And I think it's something, I can't even say it. Guess. But this little panel here of the black and white flash premonitions, do you recognize any of these?
I do not. I mean, I recognize Phoebe's hair.
Yeah, that whole panel is a 3 for You Look Familiar.
It's funny, she's so familiar to me, though. Reminds me of this old stray that used to hang outside my loft.
Familiars. That's what I'm looking for.
Have we met before? You look familiar.
Because these are all showing pieces of the Forever Charmed episode. So we see the flash forwards when Chris and Wyatt are making the potion. We see Phoebe having her 3rd child with Coop in the background. And we see Grandma Piper with the granddaughter reading her from the Book of Shadows.
Wow.
So I'm going to do side-by-sides of each one of those. It's going to be pretty cool to look at the parallels, the similarities.
So next page, we're back to Prue. I guess something might be going on with Prue. This seems a little uncharacteristic. Prue is standing over a portal. She's opened with lots of black stuff coming out of the portal, and she goes, "Come forth, demon, rise."
With her eyes all white.
Yeah, and there's like a feminine looking black shape coming up out of the portal.
Yeah, and they read the little thing in the corner, because this is Piper continuing her thought. She thinks she's...
Oh, so she says something, God, I can't even say it. Something evil.
Yeah, so she thinks Prue is turning into something evil, and then we see this like demonic looking Prue summoning a demon.
I guess you might be onto something, Piper.
And that's the end.
Mm-hmm.
So thoughts?
So I like this one. I like that we're getting a bigger Tyler story. I think that's really cool. I'm love and hate the fact that we were kind of teased that we're going to find out what's going on with Prue, and we still don't fully know. We just know it's something not good. So like, I'm jonesing to read the next one. I need to know.
yeah, like inching these little narratives here.
Mhm.
For me, this is like another issue full of intrigue, feel good moments, and sadness, because this both breaks my heart and makes it full at the same time. Um, I love Henry and Coop working together. I love the Tyler situation. Um, and the whole thing with the sisters really sucks, especially for Prue, because who right now seems to have no one in her corner to rely on. At least, while it sucks that the other sisters are in pain when they talk to her, at least they have each other, where Prue is all by herself. And that, I feel really bad for her there. So yeah, that's my general thought.
Mhm.
Anything for canonical?
The only thing, and this is just me, I just didn't like the way this started with like Leo and Piper going up to the Nexus and like starting to walk up the stairs, and then we get this whole like Tyler story that spans night till morning. So I'm like, Jesus, what were Leo and Piper? Were they just really slowly walking up the stairs? I just wish it was kind of laid out a little differently to show like the actual passage of time, but that's it.
Yeah. And maybe time works differently at the Nexus. Maybe it's almost like stagnant.
True.
Yeah, we should get some clarity on that. But yeah, I have nothing really otherwise. All right, tips for future white letters.
Oh, we're really just messengers? Guides? Think of us as guardian angels for good witches.
Tips for future white letters.
I was out being a force of good in the universe.
What is the moral?
So this one kind of hits home right now, and I'll try to like condense this down to a thought. But for stuff that I've been going through with my parents lately, like Prue is very much hitting home with the way my mom was being. She basically, when you try to help her, like she would lash out at you and attack you, and I can really feel for both sides here, because I feel like even though I don't get physical headaches when I try to talk to her, it still feels kind of gross, like not knowing what to do and also needing to keep control of your own mental health. So all that to say, like, you can't always handle everybody else's problems. You need to find ways to both handle yourself, and you need to like take care of yourself, but you also need to find ways to meet someone on their level and like connect with them to make sure they're okay.
Yeah. My tip is kind of talking about the same part of the story, because in life, you and your energy won't always click or fit with everyone, and that's okay. Because I know for me, I feel like something is wrong with me if somebody doesn't like me. Like, what did I like? Why don't they like me? I don't understand. They must, and maybe they don't see something in you, or they get certain feelings off you that you are not aware of. But everyone has the right to do what's right for them, and if they don't fit with you, let them be on their way and find the ones that you connect with. Find the right people for you. So, All right. Next is onomatopoeia. There's only one.
So I guess it's both of our favorites.
Yes. Bzzz. I think a fifth element. Grab it. Oh, Ruby Rod is amazing. Anyway. You're a winner, baby. All right. What's the most valuable panel?
For me, the most valuable, the biggest tease, the biggest I want more is Prue raising this fucking demon. I want to know who this demon is. I want to know what's going on with Prue. I have a theory. I think it's Tuatha. I'm gonna go with Tuatha.
Well, save that because that's my PS4 question.
Oh shit.
My most valuable panel, I think it's between two, because I think they kind of go together and showcase the nuance of it. So the one where Prue is showing sadness for her outburst and the fact that Piper's leaving, and the one of her summoning the demon, go hand in hand, because I think it shows her whole full scope of her power and her emotion. I don't think she's like as evil as it looks. I think she's coming from a place of hurt and desperation, you know? So yeah, and just because, and she's just all powerful. So when she's in it, she's like really in it. And you know, and to think too, because she does have the grimoire inside of her, so there is still that balance of magic within her. So it makes sense why I should have this duality as well.
I'm just laughing to myself because I feel like we have a theme today, and not only we're recording an episode of this and Solving for X, but they come out on the same day. And like, I feel like Prue and Mystique are so on the same page. Like, they're doing some like nasty shit, but it comes from a place of hurt. So I love that these come out together.
Yeah, it's meant to be. Okay, so sexiest drawing.
Oh my god. So this picture of Coop lying in bed on the phone with his hand behind his head.
That's
like
Henry.
It is Henry. You're right. Sorry. They look so much alike. This picture of Henry like that in bed, I'm like, I could just see myself going down on him in that position. Like, I am sucking his dick in that picture. You just can't see me.
Preach. That is the hottest picture by far. I'm like, your body is looking on point. Just the hand, arms up. Yes, it's beautiful. It's hot. I love it. It's amazing. Get it, Henry. All right, so now we're at issue ranking. Would this be Magically Delicious, Pretty Witchin', A Sorcerer's Apprentice, Disenchanting, or Vanquishable?
That's hard. I'm gonna give it a high Pretty Witchin', just because same as last, I feel like we're still like getting to the big reveal, the big story, but this is definitely like whetting my appetite. I need to know more.
Yeah, we're pretty on the same page here. I give it Pretty Witchin' as well because I like a lot of what's in here. It still does feel very transitory because we're still getting lots of setup and not a lot of action, but there's lots of humor. There's lots of heart that's still all around. And so, yeah, it's in that Pretty Witchin' category for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll get on to the PS4 poll question.
Prue? Piper.
You mean it's just you and Prue, huh?
Phoebe? Phoebe, you there?
And a big hello to you too, Penny.
Come on, Patty. The rest is up to them.
Paige. My name is Paige.
Another P, imagine that.
P is for poll.
Tuatha.
What demon is Prue summoning? Tuatha. I can't answer this one because I know the answer, but I'm curious to see what people who haven't read might be thinking. And I'm sure we'll get answers from people who read it who are like, I know. I put it in there. But people who haven't read, who is this first time, I want to hear what you think this is. Yeah, is it someone we've seen before? Is it somebody entirely new? You know? So, but you did say it was feminine, so that's a good clue, I would think.
Okay.
Cool. So that's it. We have done it. Tell us what's next.
So next up, we see this really cool image of Prue, Piper, or Phoebe, Piper, and Podge, like coming through a portally looking thing with a demon face behind them. The issue's called.
That's like Balthazar face too.
It does look like Balthazar face.
Yeah.
And it says, "Haste makes wasteland." And it says, "Nothing is what it seems when Henry, Coop, and Tyler return from a place they probably should have never gone to in the first place. Meanwhile, Prue and an old frenemy are learning about what it means to be the guardian of the nexus of the all. And if Prue ever was the guardian to begin with, change is coming." Ah!
Yeah. Enticing.
Also, it says frenemy, so that makes me want to change my vote because they were never frenemies, her and Tuatha.
Yeah. Frenemy. But maybe the frenemy is unrelated to this. Maybe it's somebody else who shows up.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Touche.
Well, cool. So that is it. Tell the people where they can follow you.
You can follow me on the marvelous galaxy of Disney, or on my new venture, Magical Journeys, which you can find at mymagicaljourneys.com. Oh my god, Spellworders. We have been getting so much intrigue into our new product of travel agent or travel consultant. Again, you don't pay anything extra to use us, and we could plan your vacation for you.
Yay!
Yeah.
So you can also find Sean and I on Solving for X, where today we talk about Mystique and her duality. Oh. And you can find this podcast at Words of the Witches, all the places, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, or Words of Witches on Twitter. And yeah, it's been amazing. Rate and review on Spotify and Apple. Yes, do it. And if you want to get the merch, wordsofthewitches.threadless.com. But yeah, we will see you next week for the other one, for the next one, the continuation. Until then, be well. Enjoy your life. Your destiny still awaits, I say. Ta-da!